Ready or not. Hello and welcome to Nerdy. For nerds, by nerds. I'm Nerdist Dave. Today I'm joined by all these fine nerds, and we're going to be playing some 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons in the Ether Skies campaign setting. This is our The Sky Remembers game, and of course, our friends Robin, Jezi, Tate, Bobby, Carlos, and of course, Nerdarchist Ted is here as well. You can find links in the description to go check them out across the interwebs. With that, we're going to jump into our game tonight. Once I find the right tabs, because I have so many tabs open, all the tabs. All right, last time on Wind's Echo, the skies trembled as the crew of the Wind's Echo edged closer to the truth and to peril. In the drifting carcass of a long-dead Ether ship, they uncovered a haunting fusion of magic, memory, and machine. Within bone-hole corridors and whale-touched steel, they encountered a cradle containing a skeletal figure, strange relay nodes mimicking whale song, and the remnants of a terrible experiment. Each discovery whispered the name of Grisha, and a deeper name, Elgrath, etched itself in dread across their memories. The the deeper they searched, the louder the echoes. Sky whales manipulated like pawns, ancient souls twisted by brass and song, and a device that could either doom or defend the very spirit of their ship, Denvu. The choice to install it hung heavy with risk. Some called for caution, others for boldness. A communion was called for let spirit meet soul in a seance of memory, and if the crew of the Wind's Echo be bold enough. But before that could happen, above the clouds, two ships approached. Grisha's Furia and Grisha's Pride, bearing the marks of the eyeless hand. Their message is clear: parley or submission. The sky grows darker. The wind listens, and the Wind's Echo remembers. So with that, we left off with the ship Grisha's Pride hailing the Wind's Echo and requesting, maybe a bit forcefully, for parley, and their captain Veeth wished to join you on the deck of the Wind's Echo along with his first mate. And we left off with them touching down, beginning to parley with the crew. But in the meantime, I believe other things were happening as well. So we'll rewind just a hair as you guys were preparing to receive the captain.
Captain, I can get us
Yes,
some information, if you like.
of course.
Very well, but don't expect me during the meeting.
Of course, of course.
And
We all were brought aboard for a particular skill set we each have. I trust you all to do your best in that.
So, Dave, I'm going to go below deck to my quarters, lock myself in. I'll tell Dorian if he's there, because I know he was out of commission previously. So I'll just let Dorian know, love, I'm about to do some scouting. Do you mind?
Is there anything in particular I should be doing?
There is a parlay about to happen above deck, and with your winning personality, I'm sure you would be only an asset to the captain.
I will do my best.
Just be safe. And he, caresses your cheek.
And you. And there's a little forehead touch. You can tell that he kind of delights in having to lean down to do it, because that wasn't true previously.
All right.
So as Dorian surfaces to the deck of the ship, you're greeted with the sight of a humanoid mantis creature with 4 arms, multifaceted eyes, that looks very alien. Standing menacing behind him is a large contraption. In some ways, it kind of resembles your own form, as it is humanoid in its most basic of shape, but it is made of gears and pulleys and metal, piloted by a kobold dressed in flying leathers and a set of goggles upon his eyes, and his sewn into his flying leathers is the name First Mate Guntar. So, the way we're going to do this for you spying on their ships, you're using Arcane Eye, you're going to send it forth during the parlay, correct, Rain?
Yes, correct.
So, what I'm going to need you to do, and you can choose how you want to do this,
Okay.
you're going to have to make stealth checks using your intelligence modifier
Okay.
Nice.
I dig.
to see how deeply you can penetrate into Grisha's pride. Grisha's fury is too far away for you to send your eye in a timely fashion. The other ship is fairly close because they flew over from it.
Okay.
My question for you is, do you want to make an individual stealth check for each layer that you pierce into the ship, gaining information each time, or do you want to make one roll and it'll determine how much information you get?
I would like to make rolls at each level because I think that's more interesting and more suspenseful. So,
Okay.
like, if you want to, like, cut away and come back or whatever, like, I'm cool. Like,
Okay, so that's exactly what we're going to do. So the crew is assembled, not just you guys as in the adventuring crew, but the crew of the ship have kind of gathered around. Everyone's a little bit on edge, and they are trying to kind of be nonchalant, but also like, hey, we're ready for action if you need us, Captain. Was there any other particular actions that anyone else wanted to kind of get ready or do in anticipation of this meeting? You don't have a ton of time, but you do have a little bit.
If I don't see Rain coming out, I'm gonna kind of. Are his quarters kind of in the same hallway as the captain's quarters?
I think he went down below decks to
Okay.
be away
I'm
from
gonna
prying
try
eyes.
to. I will stay kind of in between. Like if there's a hallway or something between the captain's quarters and the meeting, just to kind of make sure nobody comes near this thing in the cabinet.
Yes. So that would be the captain's quarters is probably above deck. It's one of the few spaces that are. And then below decks is where the rest of the crew and yourselves would normally be, as well as the hold. And the captain put the Aether core in his cabin. So between where the parlay is happening and his cabin would basically be like standing in front of the door, maybe.
Yeah, and like if I can stand in front of the door and like watch what's going on, that would be preferable.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Done.
I would just be looking to, be near the captain, to be, able to do whatever it is that I need to do if either shit goes wrong or if, shit goes right. Whatever, I'm there.
Perfect.
Yeah, like whoever wants to be the muscle inside the room, which I hope there is, I literally position them in such a way where the core, although hidden, is still protected.
So, I mean, I've got the capacity to be the hidden muscle, or I've got the capacity to be like, all right, I'm large and imposing, whatever you want.
Currently, you guys are all on the deck of the ship. They landed on the deck, and
we have a few seconds to organize this. Is that what I'm getting, Dave?
well, yeah, basically you're watching them fly over. I mean, we're backtracking a little bit. At the end of the last session, we kind of did that whole intro. If you'd like, I can go back. I can do that again.
Oh no, I mean, I think the idea of Dorian's definitely coming with us. Like,
Yeah.
bring the talkie, right?
Yeah. Okay. So they're
And-
on the deck, and once Captain V kind of like there's like almost like uh, another chair or seat built into the back of this little mech um, that was piloted by the kobold. And it is, I believe it is just medium size. Yes, it is medium size. So the chair takes up a good portion of of the back of this contraption, and he kind of hops down, stretches out all four of his limbs, looks around, and then you feel his voice unfurl into your mind like silk soaked in oil, calm, patient, and heavy with implication. The Sky Mother stirs, not myth, not metaphor, the true breath between the clouds. Grisha has seen it, and she's not alone. He steps slowly across the deck, his mandibles twitching in silent rhythm. He looks not with his eyes, but through you, as though reading deeper versions of yourself. This awakening is no accident, it's timed. The pulse, the song of the storms, all call the beastkin out from their centuries of servitude and scavenging. His forearms gesture in wide arcs towards the crew of the Wind's Echo. Your ship flies on borrowed breath, and it's beastkin who keep it alive, beastkin who bind its wound, beastkin who dream its course. A pause. His sonic presence feels closer, colder. You feel it, don't you? The old empire is crumbling. The sky remembers who it truly belongs to. Then a slight tilt of his head. A question or perhaps a challenge. Fly with us or wait to be flown over. He kind of just looks at you all. And then finally his gaze settles on the captain, Razga.
What do we owe the pleasure of this parlay?
Grisha wishes you to join us. The prophet has foreseen the rise of the Sky Mother, who we serve. You're a beastkin like us.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think it will be out of place to speak at what Grisha wants out here in public. Perhaps more private setting works for you? Yes? No?
Private, you say? Private, but for centuries you scraped under the tables of empires. Fetchers, soldiers, pets. But the sky has no master now. It remembers who fed it first, who bled in its name. This is not time for vengeance, it's time for restoration. We are not taking what was not ours. We are returning to what never should have left. And then he slowly turns his head toward your crew. You feel a psychic spotlight fall on them one by one. Mara Bluewind, 5 captains outlived, none of them beastkin. Vexel, you read the stars with instinct no instrument can match. Gusty Realman, you fly because you were born sky-blooded. Mops, I see more than they do, so do you. The ship endures because of them, because of you. So I ask, who does it truly serve? Why do we need to go below deck and speak in dark shadows of a cabin when we can speak here in front of all of your crew?
Because I command. And I am of beastkin.
You are, and that is why we've come to you. Your vessel is uniquely crewed by mostly those of our brethren and those who would willingly stand shoulder to shoulder with them. What is it you wish to keep from your crew?
Why would I say here? Please.
As you wish.
I invite you to my quarters. Taro. Dorian. 5 seconds. I'm this dramatic. 5 seconds. I got your name, brother. Elias. And Hank. Let's see till we keep these talks private, eh? As I wave everybody to come with me.
Okay. With that, we will pan below deck where we will find Rain. So, Rain, you send forth your arcane eye.
Yep. So it's kind of like this green orb of fire, but then like it's surrounded by what looks like sigils drawn with ink, creating like really intricate geometric shapes, almost like a cage, that kind of like constantly rotate around it.
So, arcane eye is technically invisible, but if you want yours to be visible, you can.
And then it vanishes.
Or perhaps that is just how it looks to you.
Yes.
All right. Give me your first intelligence stealth check.
Okay, so this is a +7 for me because I am trained in stealth actually. So I'm actually just getting a buff, and that's pretty decent. So that's 17 plus 7 is 24.
Okay. All right. Your initial basic sweep, the eye drifts silently through open grates and pipe joints, catch glimpses of highly disciplined crew, beastkin of all kinds, working in eerie unity. Their uniforms are marked with Grisha's symbol, the palm with a closed eye. There is no idle chatter, only murmured mantras. Someone is chanting, "We are the hand, and the hand serves the eye." And then your arcane eye begins to drift deeper. You guys enter the cabin, the captain's cabin. So again, when Veeth doesn't actually speak, you just hear him in your mind. His mandibles sometimes twitch a little bit. So we are in the privacy you requested, away from the prying eyes of your crew. Perhaps there are some you do not trust amongst them.
I trust my crew with my life. In fact, I, point over to Dorian. In fact, what do you make of this individual?
Also, real quick, he left his first mate behind above deck with the rest of your crew.
Oh, well, I guess Dem and Mar will have a lot to talk about.
I'm gonna excuse myself and go watch the first mate.
Okay. So I kind of like gesture over to Dorian, and I'm just like, "You say beastkin blood ran this guy's previously. I'm curious your take on this individual." As I, like, ouch, hand over to Dorian.
You mean my assessment as presented thus far?
I'm very sorry, Rob. I didn't know you were talking to me or somebody. Well,
Oh, I thought you were talking to me and I was trying to answer you. I
Oh,
think
no.
I'm on a little bit of a delay. I've been waiting for my character sheet to load in the entire time we've been playing.
Oh no, I guess I was inquiring to Jeff, Vex, whoever this opposing captain is. What do they think of Dorian, considering you're sold in armor, right?
Yes.
Trying to get a feel of it, and then still like figure out what's going on, but I got the captain tongue tied. It looks like.
So to be clear, are you asking Dorian's assessment in front of Veeth?
With Veeth, I am because he gave a quick rundown of my crew, which I appreciate a lot, honestly. Talking about, oh yeah, Beast King great, non-Beast King suck, and I'm like, all right, well, What's your assessment of Dorian?
Almost like you're almost looking for Dorian to give kind of a rebuttal since he assessed your crew, some of your crew.
Exactly, yeah, like trying to like get him to speak and then have Dorian step in type deal. But
Okay, so you're trying to goad him into talking. Gotcha. Um, give me a persuasion to see if he if he takes the bait.
all right, I'm running with -1. Hopefully, I don't run like hot garbage. I'm gonna use my inspiration, man. I ain't like that. That's marginally better by 1.
Hmm.
8.
Nice. You hear a subtle chuckle in your minds. It's cold and almost calculating. I did not mean my assessment of your crew to be an insult or a jibe. Actually, myself and the prophet are very impressed with the fact that you crew your ship with mostly beastkin and those who will willingly stand shoulder to shoulder with them and treat them as equals. It is not how our kind are received often. That is why we are willing to offer you a place amongst us. Grisha does not seek pawns. She seeks principles. Help us shape the next age, and you will not kneel beneath its weight. You will ride it.
I just physically speak and kind of like giving a nod to Dorian, like, and just walking back towards my chair, take it up and sit down.
And
Okay,
almost,
so I have been lagging. So sorry.
that's okay. Did you hear what he said, or you're lagging out?
Okay, so I have been lagging quite a bit, and I've gotten probably 75% of what's been said. I need a clarification on what I am negotiating. What do we want?
Honestly, they kind of sound like we're not being subservient to these guys. We are captaining our own nonsense, and we're buying time
Okay,
at
so
this
we want to
point.
negotiate for a good position in their like flotilla, right? Like we want to come out with like some degree of authority or like with or with at least freedom to operate under our own discretion.
Yeah, they join us. We ain't joining them. Actually, this is makes I have telepathic speaking. We can chat this up at the moment. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So Dorian would not advise attempting to gain authority over these people, but autonomy, we can probably manage to swing that. That's probably not off the table. So like a loose alliance, we're auditioning for each other, right? Like that's the framework I'm going to take. Is that cool with you?
It's all good. Yeah.
Okay, so Dorian will step forward, and it's very like stage marionette, right? Like you can tell that this man has been on the stage before, and like his movements are practiced, if a little bit stiff. The strings are not there, but you could imagine where they would be if they were. And he gives a little respectful bow and introduces himself. My name is Dorian. I have come to speak to you about the details of joining your number, what that means for us, what that means for you, and how we all mutually benefit.
And how do you see that happening?
Well, we've caught your eye for a reason, and I imagine that there's probably more than one reason, because you've got the principles that you're looking for, But you also have needs as an organization, and I'm sure that you've got an idea of what we can do for you. What we're looking for is actually to test that out a little bit and to get an idea of how we can fit together. We don't really know each other that well yet, but we could. So what I would suggest is this. We find something that we both need done. We go and do it together. We see what the chemistry is like. The stage presence, if you will.
That is a very intriguing offer. We all serve the Sky Mother. At the end of the day, even the prophet has brought us together to serve the Sky Mother. She's got another name, though. It is Elgrath. So we don't so much act on our own, but at the behest of the Sky Mother. It is a gift to us to serve her. And that is the gift we wish to offer you. She's awakened, and the sky no longer sleeps. The mother stirs beneath the storm and silence. Grisha has seen her in the sky moon's breath, and she weeps. You think this is chaos unshaped? No, it is labor. A new sky is being born. The whales sing it. The storms carry it, and the beastkin will ride it first. And we want you to ride with us.
So, from this point, I am going to do this for telepathic communication. Are we on the same page?
This guy sounds. I literally tell everyone this dude sounds like he's off his gourd.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely a cult. I have seen cults before. This is 100% a cult. Abort, get out, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we might have a recess to convene and discuss what we've heard here, I'm sure this has been quite enlightening for many of us.
With that, we're going to pan into the hold where Rain is.
Oh, goodness.
Give me your next stealth check.
Okay. Same number. 17 plus 7, 24.
All right,
That's
very
wild.
good. So you begin some mid-deck eavesdropping. You pass a warded door. Just as it flickers open, a robed kobold exits, eyes glowing faintly within a tactical map. Table shows sky routes converging on Haven, marked with crimson rings. Beside it sits a communication crystal, currently pulsing with pale light. A name slips out of the subordinate's mouth. Elgrath has begun the calling.
Okay. Can I commit this to memory with my keen mind?
You can, yeah.
Cool.
I'll send you the stuff so that you have it.
Cool. Yeah, just doing a little snoopity snoop.
So Veeth turns to the crew, turns to the captain and to Dorian. Is that what you wish? You wish time to discuss?
Gave us such a large proposal with large implication. It's going to require, at the very least, a bit of time for us to mull it over.
And how much time would you like?
Give us 15 minutes.
Oh,
Much to discuss.
then I will see how my first mate is faring. With that, we'll pound to above deck while all this is going on. And Hank is up there amongst the other crew. And the first mate. As soon as the captain heads down with the other captain in tow, and most of the adventuring crew, Guntar kind of looks around um, at at the wind's echoes, and not just the crew but the ship, is the vessel itself. You fine folk seem to run a type ship here. I'm impressed. The wind's
Mara.
echo.
I'm sorry.
The wind's echo would make a fine addition to Grisha's fleet, if your captain so chooses.
I'm not there, am I? Or no, it's Hank, right?
Hank is there,
Yeah.
and the crew. So if you want to speak up for any of the crew, you feel free. Anyone can actually do that if they just pick a crew member and start doing the thing.
Mara scoffs like, yeah, right. Like, pays no mind to their goofy talking and like just keeps an eye out as she should.
You could do worse than running with Grisha's dark eyes and her fleet. You'll get respect like you get nowhere else.
Well, I'm sure Hank has a lot to say about that. Right, Hank? Eventually, but
I was eating a cookie. So, I don't know how we can just go, but we need to just go. They've been drinking a little bit too much of the Kool-Aid.
Mara kind of like nods and agrees, like,
Yeah.
We gotta make sure.
They're definitely, I would not be surprised if there's like some kind of telepathy going on where he's gonna try to pull all the beastkin over to his ship if you say no. And then blow us up.
Well,
You also notice Hank's already drinking.
See how the humans distrust us? Now, I know I am not a beastkin like many of your crew here, but the kobolds also live under the thumb of the others and get very little respect. Most of our
I'm
lives,
not a human.
You're elf, right?
I'm not saying. But I'm gonna shoot that person a dirty look.
Yeah.
Flip him off and walk away.
at this point, I think Mops comes by, and he's like, "Excuse me," to the guest, like, "Excuse me." In the way.
He starts mopping his mech.
Right.
Although Mops does come by, he's like, "Wait a minute, even us kobolds are welcome?" "Oh yes, Grisha and the Sky Mother, by extension, seeks to uplift those who've been downtrodden. You no longer need to live beneath the boot of the societies that have gone before. A new order's coming, one we can all be a part of. Even our friend that has been partaking of the libations." With that, let's jump back to below deck terrain.
Okay, let's see what kind of roll we get. I got a nat 20! Yeah!
Oh,
Oh my god.
So that's 27.
you breach a hidden chamber. Slipping between ductwork and an ornate vent grate, the eye hovers above a secured cargo hold, transformed into a shrine. The walls are carved with skywhale bone fragments inscribed in spiraling script. At its center floats a small core shard, humming in tandem with the one aboard the Wind's Echo. It's unstable, a raw conduit. A chained beastkin kneels before it, whispering, I am worthy, I am melody.
Oh, wow. I'm just an observer, and I am fascinated. Can I tell what this thing does or what its function is?
It reminds you of the core you brought on board that was released from the Bellow of Silence when it was defeated.
Okay.
And
Okay.
even through the arcane eye, you can kind of feel the energies coming off of it.
Okay.
Huh. With that, Veeth, strolls above deck and then walks over to where Guntar is past him, and then to his contraption that they flew in on, and he pulls one leg up underneath him, then a second one, and then places all four of his arms upon his knees as he just kind of sits there hovering, appears to be meditating and waiting for
Right.
the captain and his crew to retrieve him to continue the talks.
All right, so I look towards the people around us. I'm like, all right, how do we tell these guys to bugger off? Open to suggestions. So I look around.
I have an idea. I suggest that we humbly regret that we cannot hear what they hear, and that it would be disingenuous to offer our services to a deity when we do not genuinely have worship in our hearts yet, and that we will go find it and come back and check with them, and then we just never do that.
Look to
So lie.
Elias and
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
I look
Yeah,
to
I'm with lying.
yeah.
And
I look
who's
to
going to be the one to deliver this lie?
Me, if my character sheet ever loads. Wait, my character sheet is loaded. I have +7 to deception. Can anyone beat that?
all my charisma is dumped. Like you got it's
I don't believe it, Carlos.
I'm not I'm a barbarian.
All his charisma is muscles.
Right?
Yeah,
I have a
so
hard
we
time
need to let
believing that.
Dorian talk, and all the rest of us muscles just kind of fuck off. I think.
If you guys would like to take the help action by looking very solemn and like pious behind me, I would appreciate it. But I basically tell them what I told the party, Dave.
Okay.
That is how I'm gonna package this.
All
Shall I
right.
roll?
Roll it.
25.
Okay. So Dorian is a warforged or clockwork wrought here in Zontara, Other Skies.
Yes.
Even though I know Dorian used to be a performer, does that body kind of make Dorian kind of more cold and machine-like, because as kind of a limiting, not a limiting factor, but the perception others would gain from it?
If I had been made for any other purpose, I would say yes, but I was crafted by someone who loves me romantically. So probably not.
Okay.
Like, I think he would have taken care to make sure that everything that I can do is just as fluid as it should be.
Okay, so you say that to him, right? I understand, but understand this. One of you was seen in the fractured light of the sky wound, a shape cloaked in ether and iron, standing where others had fled. Grisa saw your shadow and your choice. She does not yet know which way you'll fall.
So which one of us was in this vision?
That has not been revealed to me, only that one of you was in our prophet's vision. And I know some of you will call it corruption. We call it becoming. Elgrath merely scraped at the surface of Elgrath merely scraped at the surface. The sky beasts are not weapons, they are vessels, choirs of a new age. The Bellower was not lost. It was tuned. But I respect your choices, your decisions. You need time to come to understand. And we have no problem with offering you that. But just know, if you cross us and our aims, the Sky Mother may not be so benevolent anymore. And you think Denvu sings only for you? He hears all songs now. Living ships grow, and what grows chooses. So, he may be back to our fold yet, despite what his crew chooses. With that, I will take my leave. Below the hold, give me another check.
Here we go. Oh, that one's not as good. I think I'm using my inspiration for this one because I care about this a great deal.
Okay, well, you can tell me the number, and then I'll tell you if you should use it.
Well, I got an 8 on the die, plus 5 is 15. Or plus 7 is
Okay.
15. So,
Yeah, you want to use it.
yeah, so I got a natural 18, which puts me to 25.
Perfect. You next discover a forbidden briefing room. Your eye pushes through a glyph-locked hatch just as two officers, including one of Veith's commanders, finishes a report. Pride holds pattern until the echo breaks. Grisha's voice comes soon. If they resist, we force the merge or burn the ship for denying the pod mother. One slides a file onto the drawer labeled Project Brass Knot.
Can I see what Project Brass Knot says? Or is it, like, still closed up?
They basically, you see them take the file and put it in a drawer.
Okay. Is the drawer secured in any way?
Other than being closed.
Okay, I'm just wondering for, like, future reference if we were to begin sailing the dark waters, as it were. Yo-ho and all that.
It's a desk, and the individual drawers have locks and latches to them. So, but I mean, considering the crew of the Wind's Echo, that probably would be the least of the problems. Getting through the rest of the ship would be far more difficult than opening this drawer.
Okay. Yeah. So I will just commit everything that I can to memory so I can reproduce it in whatever fashion I am capable.
Okay, so on the Echo's winds, or the Wind's Echo, dyslexia, it's a bitch. Veith thanks you all, and especially you, Captain, for entertaining him and hearing him out. He reaches into a pouch and pulls out a crystal. Or a crystalline disc, I should say. And floating in the crystalline disc is an image of a hand, fingers stretched up, with an eye in the center that is closed. And he flips it over to you. Well, if you wish to discuss further, you need only break this, and the prophet Grisha Dark Eyes will hear you.
Right.
No, we grant you safe passage as long as you do not attempt to stop us.
I do have an inquiry.
Sure.
These... Well, how do I say? Deformed sky whales, if you will. Is that your doing?
Somebody give me an insight check.
I'm like, again, I have 8 charisma. I'm just gonna flat out ask, like, no subtleties about it. Ooh, that looks nice at 18.
With an 18.
Elias got the 18, but
Okay.
I just saw it on the. Everyone's rolling pretty good, dog. Tell us what you know.
Okay, so. As I pull up the chat. Oh, you guys are rolling in okay. You guys are rolling in D&D Beyond. Okay, Taro's got a 24, which I can't believe he's not using real dice.
I didn't grab real dice. I apologize. It's crazy.
Okay, 24 and an 18. Okay. So the 18, you notice V3 acts to the use of the words deformed. It's hard to really determine, because he's very alien looking to you, to determine what exactly that reaction means. But it was strong, visceral, instant, and then he immediately covered it up. Also speaking to his abilities to control his emotions and also hide his thoughts. But with the 24, for the briefest instance, you see indignation and a flash of rage, cold, hard rage from this being that has expressed zero emotion, has been nothing but cold and calculating the whole time.
So indignation and rage because we're not instantly joining?
No. At referring
at
to
his...
the
Oh.
At referring to the sky whales
As his doing.
No, not his doing, but as being mutated. That's the word you used? Was it not?
Yeah, more or
Carlos?
less. Yeah, that's more or less the gist of it. Yeah.
Okay. He clearly does not agree with the negative incontinent.
Deformed.
Deformed. That's yes. That is even better. The negative connotation, upset him greatly to his core immediately, and then he instantly steeled his visage and held his true feelings.
So I would say, Captain, I'm not certain that the word choice you used was apropos, and I'll kind of look in their direction and say, please forgive the captain. He is quite skilled at sailing a vessel, but is not very verbose.
I may not be. Oh, go ahead.
So he's back to his kind of like cold and calculating continence, and that which you call a deformity is a blessing of the Sky Mother.
I may not be, as my crew member here said, Barbeau, purposely saying completely wrong. But I do know how a sky whale is supposed to look like. And
I'm gonna start elbowing the captain really hard. I think maybe we should wait for this conversation later, after they leave, and we can freely go ahead and sail off and look for this religious insight that we need to make our decision.
Exactly, Hank. That's what I was about to get to. You see,
and offer them a drink on their way out. Do you all drink?
I always keep my mind clear, and Guntar would most certainly accept your drink, but he'll be flying me back to our ship, so I will decline for him.
Too bad. It's good stuff.
So,
yeah, well,
as I was
He doesn't.
saying.
He doesn't want to get an FWI.
Oh yeah, right. So as I was saying, as I walk up to the captain, like I was saying, we don't see the religion eye to eye just yet. Where may we get this insight?
Well, it was my understanding, according to your negotiator, your diplomat of the crew, that you would research it yourselves. I do not wish to influence your decisions or the information, but it is out there. Seek your own kind.
We
You will
are
be able
we are
to-
quite skilled, and I imagine we will find what is necessary.
You have the means to contact us when necessary. Rain, give me one final check.
Okay, here we go. I got no more inspiration, guys, so it is what it is.
All good, baby.
7 plus 7, 14.
Okay. With a 14, you feel your arcane eye actually being physically pushed out of the ship as magical barriers and defenses finally lock in on it and hurl it from Grisha's pride. But as it does, your arcane eye shudders as it brushes a sonic veil through it. The brief vision crackles. Grisha, not as she appears, but as she is, a writhing mass of thought and prophecy. Blindfolded by light with too many arms and too many mouths, she turns ever so slightly and smiles. Rain, I see you, she whispers, and the eye winks out.
That's creepy, man.
As a player, I am not digging that, but oh my gosh. I don't know how Rain would react to that. I don't know.
Also, give me a wisdom saving throw, DC 18.
Okay, 19 on the die plus 3.
Okay, perfect. That beats the DC. When your eye winks out, you feel a psychic backlash hammer against your mental shields. It doesn't actually feel like it was a conscious assault, but more so you just experiencing the power of Grisha Dark Eyes and being basically at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. I don't have anything that will let me communicate psychically. So I think I'm probably... Can I tell, like, with my hearing, can I hear what's going on above deck? Like, are they getting close to wrapping up, or...
Yeah, like this is happening as you hear that contraption fire up, which leads you to believe they're actually leaving right now.
Okay. All right. So I will stand, dust myself off, fix my hair, because I'm sure something got messed up. And I will stride confidently above deck as though nothing is wrong.
Okay, so as they get about halfway from between your ship and theirs, from above drops several figures that you just they weren't there before, and they are now, and they seem to take up formation around Veeth and his first mate. There's a woman that has feathered wings for arms and not for arms. She has feathered wings sprouting from her back, and her lower appendages appear to be that of a bird of prey. Another figure appears to be a large lizard humanoid figure that has wings that extend from its arms to its body. Another kind of looks, reminds you of the captain in the sense that it is a humanoid draconian figure, but its scales are a shining silver. There is a second figure that is smaller to the other flying lizard with the they both kind of look similar but different, but they look almost like pterodactyls but humanoid formed, but one is just vastly larger than the other. And then finally, kind of taking up the rear guard, is a beast of. It actually looks like a beast. It appears to be a lion with bat wings.
A lion with bat wings. Creepy.
Yes. And they return to their ships, and their ships begin to kind of pull away.
Okay. I will walk up behind Dorian and squeeze his hand. Lean in. She saw me. And I saw her
Okay.
too.
I would love your opinion.
She is not humanoid. She is something else. She is not just a sky whale that's been corrupted either. What she is, I hesitate to say it, but she is a monster.
I know you would not say this lightly.
Is that just a Dorian? Like, is this...
It's between him and Dorian because you can tell he's quite shaken. So he's kind of like tuned a lot of other people out. But I imagine if Robin, if you're okay with it, they could hear it.
Yes.
What kind of monster? I mean, in these day and age, some might call me a monster. I kind of like, quirk my ears a little bit. I mean, I've been called worse.
A writhing creature of light and darkness simultaneously. Mouths and eyes and fire and danger. The kind of thing you can't quantify.
Less monster and more aberration?
To call her an aberration, even, is to cheapen what I saw. It's something else.
Are you good with an artist's quill by chance?
Let me check.
While that's happening...
No, but I have calligrapher's tools, which I imagine would let me write eloquently about it. Imagine a Lovecraftian excerpt.
I just tell Mara as they're sailing off, get us the hell out of here.
Are you guys going with your original course, heading to cut off one of the corrupted skywells that are heading to Haven?
Yes. That's still my vote.
Yep.
Okay.
I did get information that everything is converging on Haven.
In the Discord, I put a link to all the information Bobby gained.
Oh, thanks.
Hey.
Highly appreciated, buddy.
Okay, so the you had previously discussed putting together or wanting to cast Speak with Dead to talk to Awulala and question them. Is that something you guys are still planning on doing?
If everybody wants to.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were getting ready to you were starting your research into how to do that because you do have a spell that allows you to speak with dead, but this isn't exactly the right use for that spell, but it does give you a basis. So you've been able to work up a ritual that you're going to need assistance with to kind of basically hold a seance in order to speak with the spirit.
Okay. I think I would consult with Elias first, being the most apparently another spellcaster, and I don't want to endanger Dorian more than is necessary. So he'll just approach you with the details of what he's worked out so far. Do you have any insights about how to do this better? I know life and death is more of a druidic domain, generally speaking, and I do get, if it's not offensive, I do get some druid, shall we say, druid energy from some of the things you do.
I'm not quite sure what druid really is, but the things I do deal more with healing and life. I don't really mess with death. But I am an alchemist. Is there any materials?
Well, generally speaking, in arcane magic, sometimes materials of high quality can be used to sort of channel magic, refract it, and are sometimes consumed in the process. Things like diamonds being consumed for spells after they refract the magic enough within themselves that they sort of enable it to happen by amplifying the power. Do you think that such a reagent might be necessary for this?
I think it could help.
What would you suggest? I know gems are common, but they aren't the only reagents. If it's helpful, I could bring Dorian into this, but I wanted to leave him out of some of the more dangerous aspects of magic, if I could help it, considering he shuts down and turns on a lot.
So, after you guys converse with each other for a while, and, Rain explains the different principles behind what you're trying to do in the ritual, then Elias will be able to make inferences what alchemical substances might aid based on their properties and the results you're looking for. So the two of you work together to come up with this ritual. After hours of going back and forth and over the course of the next few days, you think you've got it, and one of the things you're going to need to do is you're going to need to channel the life energy of the crew, the adventuring crew. When I say adventuring crew, it just means you guys, the party, as opposed to the whole crew of the ship, in order to to power the ritual to make the seance happen, everyone will have things that they could probably contribute.
Okay.
And so,
sorry. Can I bring Taro and Dorian into it, like, after maybe 1 or 2 days, just so they're aware and can kind of help contribute? Because if it was going to take longer, I figure maybe, yeah, we'll get all the spellcasters in. I don't know if I would have the impression of Hank being a spellcaster or not.
well, you have not seen you've seen Hank do supernatural things, but not necessarily cast spells.
Yeah.
And also, I believe from the different things that have happened already, Hank seems to does seem to be knowledgeable when it comes to the supernatural.
Okay. So basically we're bringing everybody except the captain in on this plan.
That's cool. I got other things to do anyway.
He has a whole ship to run.
But actually for the ritual, the captain will actually be integral because he will be the anchor and main focal point because he is the captain of the ship.
That's right. I'm binded to this John.
So, once you've consulted everyone, crossed the T's, dotted the I's, brought forth the alchemical supplies, gone over the arcane diagrams and etched into the floor the arcane patterns of geometry, you're probably going to want to do this someplace quiet and secluded, so below decks in the hold, where there's enough space and also less likely to be interrupted. The ritual begins in silence, not the comforting hush of a quiet moment, but a silence that presses in, thick and breathless like the pause before a storm breaks. The air around you hums with ethereal static. Rain's voice trembles through the incantation. Denvu croons low and long from the deck above, a wail song not meant for mortal ears. Then the ship groans, not the physical wind's echo, but its spirit twin conjured through the veil, flickering and half-formed. You stand now in a reflection of your own vessel, shadows where light should be and corridors bending at impossible angles. Hear the walls whisper, footsteps echo before they're taken. You feel it. You're not alone. The ritual has brought you somewhere between life and death, memory and echo. The spirits of the wind's echo, crew lost to time, battle, or silence stir in their haunts. Some are ready to help, others not yet. At peace, Ahulala waits within the storm of memory. But to reach them, you must traverse the soul print of your ship, room by room, ghost by ghost, and bind the veil together before it collapses. The seance has begun. You need six successes before 3 failures. The DC is 18, and you cannot do you individually cannot do the same skills over and over again. Matter of fact, I will say actually 1 skill per person. And with that, your choices for skills are Arcana, Religion, Insight, Persuasion, Intimidation, Performance, History, Animal Handling, and Medicine, Investigation, Survival.
I'm gonna flat out say I don't think we got this, guys. Every single one of them skills I'm either not trained or flat 0 in.
If
Like,
for me, I've got Arcana, Investigation, Insight, and Religion that I do fairly decent at, that I've got better than 50% chance of success.
So my my insight is +8, my perception is +8, my performance is +7, and my persuasion is +7. Deception is also +7, but I don't think that was on the list.
No, I've got Arcana +7, History +7, Investigation +7, Religion +7, Survival +6.
I got intimidation +2.
And we start the session with inspiration, right?
I
Yes.
used mine.
Although, as a barbarian, you can always rage.
I can rage,
Ooh.
but it only works for a handful of those things.
I'll slap
that
you.
Said. No, because like the ability says like let me pull it up real fast.
I know. It works for a handful of those things. You only need to work for a couple. So, question. Who wants to take a crack at it first, and what skill?
I do also have Arcana +10, Ted, if that helps. But my insight is +3 and my perception is +3, and everything else I'm trained in was not listed.
Well, as I always say, beauty
I mean,
before
we're-
brawn.
We're able to use, our own skills. We just can't use the same skill twice. So, like, I could use Arcana, you could use Arcana, no problem. But I couldn't use Arcana twice. Is what I'm hearing.
No, just one skill can be used at total.
Okay, so I mean, I've got religion, investigation. I can use. Even my insight is pretty decent, so I'm good with whatever you guys want me to use.
Okay, then I'll strongly prefer Arcana.
Go for it.
All right, let's start
sure.
there.
Let's go. 14 on the die +10, 24.
That beats 18. So, a door appears before you as you go down the hall, and you open it, using your knowledge of Arcana to inspect the engine room. Raw magic flows here. Surges of unstable ether still pulse. Elistar Quillborn, a serpent beastkin, appears to you and nods in approval. You can make a note somewhere. You're going to gain advantage on your next Arcana or spell attack roll.
Cool.
So you have that until you use it.
Nice. I will give like a bow to the ghost, like in a like formal like greeting kind of way, and meet his eyes and say, "Thank you, friend."
And so you've also met one of the former crew members of the Wind's Echo. Who would like to try next?
Anybody have an issue if I take investigation? Okay, here we go. 24.
24 leads you to the cargo deck where contraband and secrets hide. You find the Ledger Ghost, a happy female gnome. Reveals one hidden ritual clue or a lie. Which do you prefer?
I'll take the clue.
So what the gnome tells you is you should see Dren the shield hand next. You'll find him in the armory bay. And you're going to have to persuade him in a most forceful way, though. Perhaps your captain would be best suited for this. By persuade, he means intimidate.
I think I can do that. Maybe I can. I mean, I'm raging. I'm, like, and I can do that. The strength roll, but all right, no guts, no glory. Let's try it.
So as you guys make your way to the armory bay,
6. I told you, man. These mental skill challenges are not meant for barbarians.
Yeah. You find the clanking of ghost and violence and defense within here, but what you do not find is Dren's shield hand. You find the clattering maw. It appears to be a haunted bear trap that launches itself at the captain in a fit of anger and rage. You take 7 points of psychic damage as it lashes onto you and it explodes.
Ah. Okay.
And you guys have 1 failure and 2 successes now. What would you like to try next?
One question, Dave.
Mhm.
Acrobatics, perception, survival, stealth. Which one of those? Because I already used intimidation. I can't use it again. So.
Perception is one of the skills.
Okay.
I could use history or religion fairly easily if you guys would like me to do that.
I have performance.
Both religion and performance are both skills that you could attempt.
Do you want
I'm
to
gonna
go
hit
first,
the-
Robin?
Yeah, do you mind if I hit the button?
No, do you want to do performance and then I'll do... Was it religion,
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Yeah, and then I'll get religion.
19.
All right. So you find yourself in the morale quarters, also known as the mess hall. Laughter and music, long silence, try to echo again. This is a bit of an odd one because what you find is Penny's joy, a living embodiment of her happiness. Penny is a living member of the crew, but this seems to be a spiritual embodiment of her joy and happiness. You get a success. Also, you're going to gain a +2 to your next performance check that you can write down, and resistance to haunting sounds. And when they just write that down, and when it comes up, when something sound based comes up, let me know, and I'll tell you what it does for you. So that leaves you guys at 3 successes and 1 failure.
I rolled religion and got a 24.
All right. So that brings you to the chapel hold, which isn't... You don't have a chapel on the Wind's Echo, but this version does. An abandoned shrine lined with broken bells and sigil soot. Sister Moline, a tranquil-looking elven nun, you find there. Will grant you a +1 to your saves versus fear or possession. So the next time you have to roll that, you get that boon, that benefit, so you can jot that down someplace. And that is 4 successes to 1 failure.
And we do insight.
To me.
Oh, sorry.
Is survival, right?
Yes. There's survival and animal handling.
I think so. If I need to do a survival, I can use a strength check on that if I'm forced to. But I don't have animal handling.
All right,
If
I'll
you
do
got
the
that.
animal handling and safe survival for you then, Captain.
Also,
I mean,
because
this-
Well, there's 6 of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be
Yeah.
each and every one of us. Like
Yeah.
it could be, yeah.
Because like at this point, I'm gonna be like, I'm captain, I'm delegating. You make these rolls. At this point, you know.
22.
22 animal handling.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this takes you to the observation nest, where Denvu bonds and drifts. You find a young Denvu flying around the observation nest. So on your next Ether or magic check, you get an auto success. Just write that down. All right, Ted. Taro's going to do insight.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna use my inspiration and re-roll that, and get worse.
Oh no. All right. So you find yourself in the navigator's chamber. Maps swirl here, echoing emotion. The doubter's fog, and appears before you a mist-like spirit, and begins to assault you, and then kind of vanishes. It's not so much a physical assault as a mental or spiritual one. The next time you have to make an insight check, you have disadvantage.
Okay.
All right, and what do we've got? We've got 4 successes and 2 failures.
What other skills do we have left?
Oh, wait a minute. No, you guys have 5 successes. So you guys have not done survival, medicine, history, persuasion.
I have a +4 in history. I don't know if anybody's got better than that for history.
I have a 7.
Oh yeah, you'd be the one to do that.
I have
then.
+7. Does anybody have anything more than a +7 on any of these? Elias might have medicine. Okay. So we want history?
All right, so history.
Yeah, I'm using my inspiration.
Okay.
We're good. 26.
So you find yourself in the archivist alcove. Lore bound in ink and ash, forgotten truths pulse here. Again, something strange happens. You find the spectral tome of Mr. Grayfin, a living member of the ship. So in addition to your success, you're going to get a +1 to all checks for 1 round, and reveals a key name or event. Would you like a name or an event?
Do we want an event, guys? Or a name?
Headcanon, I think an event might be eventful.
Okay, yeah. Go with that.
Okay. So, before you unfolds a scene, and you all experience this together. You're witnessing Haven during Jubilation Week, prior to your meeting at the Etherball Stadium. Like a bird's eye view that begins to plummet towards the lower region of the flying city of Haven and settles on a vault with its doors, its doors facing the outside of the city, the outer wall, embedded in the outer wall. You witness it being blown open. And from it, a familiar shape takes form. You haven't seen it physically, but you've seen a drawing of it, a blueprint. It's the Storm Chaser as it blasts its way from this hidden vault. One person give me a perception check.
I got +9.
Oh, go.
Well, so I wish I had Gus here, but I'm happy I have you, Taro.
It's a 16.
A 16. On the inside of the vault door, as it blows out, you see just a piece of an insignia that kind of just like pulls at the edges of your memory. Like you think you know what that is, but it's been fractured, so you're not getting the whole picture. You'll remember it well enough to kind of etch it down later.
Okay.
To try and explore. The thing that's kind of remarkable about the Storm Chaser is, one, it has a skeleton crew. There's several beastkin on it, and a kobold at the helm, piloting it. It begins hurtling through the sky lanes. Immediately after blasting through, several other ships begin following, pursuing, but they're quickly left behind. They can't keep pace with the Storm Chaser. It's not even close. The vessel is too fast and too nimble. And then something unexpected happens. The ship begins to be swarmed by Aether parasites, strut strikers. Enough to possibly even bring down a ship of this size. There are so many. Matter of fact, there are several swarms. You can identify them as they glow different colors and kind of merge and coalesce around the ship, as if they're battling for the prize. You've kind of lost sight of the crew and the helmsman behind all these other strikers, and it looks like the ship might fall. You've all been on enough other ships and flown the skies long enough to know that this is not a normal occurrence. This is a catastrophe. But it gets worse, or maybe better, as enormous storm chaser. Oh, I've been calling the ship the Storm Chaser. It's the Storm's Herald. Emerges from the clouds. At first, it's hard to recognize or even distinguish it as the natural camouflage of the largest skywell you've ever seen. Kind of breaks up its silhouette amongst the clouds, but then it opens its maw to engulf the swarms of other parasites which have engulfed the ship. And down the gullet of this beast, this Leviathan of the sky, the Storm's Herald vanishes. And then you follow it through the darkness into the stomach of the beast. And you're transported from the stomach to the inside of the Storm's Herald, the captain's quarters. It's empty. There's no one in here except framed behind glass on the wall, behind the captain's desk, there's a scroll. It's unfurled. There's a visage of a young elven woman, bespeckled. Her face, probably once beautiful, but now is contorted with rage as she screams silently. Trapped in this scroll. The glass then explodes as this being erupts forth and shoots into and gets absorbed by the ship itself. You hear the tormented wail of the storm chaser, the sky wail, as it lets loose with a song, maybe a dirge is more appropriate, as this being infuses the ship, and the ship's ether core begins to pulse, sending ether out away from it, so much so it fries and overloads the parasites, and they begin falling away. All the Beastkin crew begin screaming as the raw ether begins to corrupt their physical form, causing it to disintegrate. You see the helmsman frantically begin pulling levers on the helm, finally giving up, and begins taking things from a sack it has attached to its waist, mechanical contraptions. It seems to be frantically building something while it's being fried by the ether, until finally it assembles the last piece, forming a globe around itself that the ether begins pulsating against, but not penetrating. The ship begins to expand, being absorbed into the innards of the whale. The thing that was in the scroll is still trapped, embedded into the structure of the Storm's Herald. As the whale and the Storm's Herald begin to merge and become one, you hear this echoing voice speaking, trying to confirm to themselves, saying their name over and over again, as if trying to hold on to it. I am Dr. Lucy. I am Dr. Lucy. I am Dr. Elgrath. Dr. Elgrath, the Sky Mother. And with that, your vision just ends.
Oh my.
Oh. OOC reaction, because Dorian doesn't know, but oh.
Same. None of that was rain, but my gosh.
With that,
So that is, if you're familiar with the original game that they ran years ago, that was a huge drop. So highly recommend watching the original campaign. Damn, Dave.
with that, the final word of the ritual echoes not from your lips, but from your bones, from the bones of the ship itself. Around you, the spirit world trembles. Faint silhouettes of the crew, spectral and strange, nod in quiet recognition. Ghostly rooms dissolve into starlight. The shadows no longer whisper, they sing. Denvu's voice rises once more, not in mourning, but in harmony. A song older than language hums through the planks beneath your feet. A single shape coalesces from a storm of memory, massive, luminous, and at peace. Awulala. Their presence fills the space, not like thunder, but like dawn. You feel them more than see them, a vast intelligence woven of grief and grace. Their eye meets you, not with blame, but with understanding. You came through the veil, a voice says, not in words, but in sensation. You remembered me. There is no command, no plea, just freedom. What would you like to say to the Sky Whale formerly the Beller of Silence, but returned to ooh la la la.
So out of character, I presume we already discussed what questions we were going to ask it. Like during those days we were preparing the ritual and stuff. Because I remember last session telling everybody we only have 3 questions. So what were the things we wanted to learn, Carlos? You're the captain here. What were we going for?
Wait a minute, we are all player characters here.
Was it 3 questions or 3 questions per person? I thought you said 3 questions per person.
It's 3 questions total,
three,
and
my
any
lord.
questions we ask in character count. So, like, I'm saying that because if you've seen the D&D movie, when you ask, is it 3 questions per person or 3 questions per
You have 2
I'm
more
clarifying,
questions
'cause I
you
thought
may
you
ask.
said last week.
Alright, so I think, and this is just my quickity-dickety headcanon here, I want to know why it combined with my ship. I appreciate everything's done and all that's cool and good jazz, but why did you fuse up? That's
No, this
the
isn't
only
Denver.
question I.
This
Oh.
isn't Denvu. This is Ulala, which is the whale that the core came from.
Oh.
This is the one we battled.
Yeah, this is the one we battled, and then that dark thing came out of it. And so then we fought the dark thing.
Okay.
I think Ted had questions in mind.
Yeah, Ted definitely had questions for sure.
I had
I had
questions.
questions. I typed them out.
Okay, yeah. Jezi had questions too.
Yeah, in the Zoom chat.
So, so I guess our first question, Rain will approach since he's kind of been leading this necromantic escapade. He'll squeeze Dorian's hand spiritually before he does. And, the cores that we took out of you, will it hurt someone who attunes to it?
Here's thoughtful for a moment, as if gathering his thoughts. Not directly, but there is. It is like a two-way mirror. It will reveal things to you, but it also may reveal things to the Sky Mother.
Because you are worthy. And that's just like a passing statement that he says, like, that would not make sense to anybody else. But then, Jezi, out of character, can you help me understand, what do you mean when you say how to help someone attune to the core? Do you mean like how to make it easier, or?
Yeah, like if we can assist.
Okay. Can we assist in attuning to the core?
It is not really. One just needs to do it. It is not a thing that will. The attunement itself should not be a problem.
Okay. I should have asked how you unattune to it. That's what I should have asked.
Well, so if you ask about the I'm not going to be like pandemic. If you ask about the attunement, basically it will basically explain it to you, and it is for the most part like attuning to a magic item, both breaking the attunement, and also when you ask about the risk, one, it mentions the fact that the Sky Mother you may be revealed to the Sky Mother as the Sky Mother may reveal to you. But also there is some strain upon the initial attunement. As far as can you help the one? Can you assist? How can you assist the one that needs the tuning? Perhaps you can bolster them with magic to help fortify their mind. Basically, what they're saying is, when you first attune, there's going to be a saving throw, and if there's anything you can do to assist with that saving throw, that would be helpful.
Okay. All right. Generous CM. Thank you. And out of character, guys. Is there anything else pressing we want to know before I ask a last question? Like, is there something that's better? Because I'm doing a flavor thing, unless you want something proper.
I guess and this is just my own headcanon here, if no one has anything else better to ask it. Hey, did a bunch of weird culties people come up to you and say, hey, we're gonna do things to you and turn you into a mutated sky whale type nonsense? How did you become the way you were type nonsense? You know, because this was not natural. Was it these guys or not? If no one has any other better question, I know I'm wording it like a barbarian, but
yeah. So basically, because you're seeing like the spectral version of the sky whale the way it was before it was corrupted. You kind of see it kind of bank and roll away from you, and extend out one of its fins towards you, and as if to tap you on the head with it. Just the very tip of it touches your forehead barely, and it's almost comical to see, because you've been kind of looking at it zoomed in at this point, but as it kind of zooms out and you get the enormity of this being, you've been kind of like focused on the eye and around the eye to see the whole being as it was, totally dwarfing you. It would be like you just trying to tap an ant or a gnat on the forehead with your pinky. Is the scope, and it does, and it fills you with a vision. And first you feel the dread and fear as several small vessels in comparison to the sky whale kind of descend from above on it, and they're probably slightly smaller than the wind's echo, and they all fly the flag of Grisha Dark Eyes.
dang it.
And their cannons blast forth at this creature, and it does not shoot cannonballs or ether, but these black obsidian crystalline nodes that slam into its side, one after sides and various parts of its body, one after another, and they begin maneuvering almost like a dogfight, or orbiting around and each time it's struck, it begins to kind of slow and writhe in pain and agony, and you feel this wash over you. Give me a con save. DC 18.
I think I should be okay with that. I'm proficient in that. So literally, it was about to roll on a 19. It didn't roll and slide off to the 3. I got a 9.
Okay. You're overwhelmed with crippling pain and driven to your knees. You don't take any damage, but right now you're enduring what this creature endured.
Oh, Lord.
As each one of these nodes transfer this corrupting force from this other place, a place that you kind of get a sense for. It is a place of madness, darkness, and beyond comprehension.
In fact, if you don't mind me flavoring that a tiddlywink more,
Sure.
because I'm raging because I was doing the skill challenge on.
Mhm.
As I rage, my spirit guardians surround me, and like they're also screaming in this pain as you're describing it.
Yeah, and also so does Awulala screams as well, and the other sky whale. And in the distance, you hear the cry of Denvu as it also experiences your pain, as they've all joined with your ancestors, all joined with the spirits that come forth when you rage. And with that, you begin to see the transformation of this creature into the bellower of silence. And then as it completes itself, it then begins to fly in formation with these ships. You get the briefest glimpse of its one huge eye that's filled with madness. And then the vision ends, and you're panting, you're sweating. I don't know how Dragonborn sweat, but somehow you are. Maybe tears are streaming down your face.
Sure.
As you've experienced anguish like never before, to know what this creature had gone through, to feel a part of it was still there. The part of the creature was there as it always was, stuck, trapped in a prison of its own flesh. And the last thing that you see as it flies in formation, it begins descending upon a convoy of other ships, merchant ships, some ships that are meant for war, smaller ones, protecting them, and begins devouring them. And that's where you see the rest of the deformity take place, as the wreckage of these other ships merge with the form that once was Awulala, but now the bellower of silence only exists. And you hear that horrid sound that you first experienced when you battled this dark creature. That is how I came to be as I was.
In the subsidence of it all, I just put my hand. I mean, I don't know if it's like ethereally in my face or not.
Yeah.
But I kind of like put my hand on it and say, "I'm sorry. You went through that."
And then it gets worse.
Ah, shit.
You feel shame wash over you. And it's hard to distinguish between your emotions and feelings and its at this point. And that is the shame of, it was the first one created after the Sky Mother, but not the last. And the Bellower of Silence took part in corrupting the others of its brethren. And it had to experience it and live through it, like being in a runaway tank, knowing that the horrors and terrors that were done to it was now doing to others of its kind.
Do we all experience this, or just the captain?
Just the captain.
Anyone traded insight. It hurts.
I do it, but I currently have disadvantage on insight, and I've been rolling like shit other than my first roll.
Well, I mean, I was just joking and whatnot, but literally, like, no, but seriously, I feel like You should be pretty off the cuff. You see me yelling, screaming, crying, wailing, my spears, everyone yelling. You're not gonna think, oh, he's fine. Even
Yeah,
with a bad roll.
he might even muttered some of the things he witnessed as he witnessed them.
Yeah. In fact, I would, as much as I don't know if you need me to make a roll for it, I have a straight 10, so a +0 on my wisdom. But, like, anything I can recall, I'll just be tonguing it, you know what I mean? Like, just speaking and babbling wildly. Whatever makes sense. Actually, if you don't mind, Dave, I can make a wisdom save and see. That can determine how much I babble out, if that's good with you.
Go ahead.
9, even all the things that don't matter, I roll like garbage. It's a 9, good sir.
I would say most of what you're babbling is incoherent.
Do we catch the name Lucy?
No, that part you guys all experienced. That was different. That was actually before you actually summoned Aulala to you.
Okay.
That event was revealed through one of the challenges of one of the rooms.
Gotcha. In that case, Rain will look to Dorian and say, "Wasn't Dr. Lucy a hero?" You're muted.
Muted.
There's a good chance I actually don't know. I only have a +2 in history.
Oh. But you're a bard. You have approximate knowledge of everything.
That's fair. I do have approximate knowledge
you're
of
the
many
player.
things.
So this is me. So out of character, this is me as the player inviting you as the player to give us knowledge about Dr. Lucy.
That's pressure. I don't want to have to talk about my alt IC, Lee. Oh.
So, I am fairly well trained in history. Would I happen to know anything about this aforementioned Dr. Lucy?
You can make a history check. The DC is going to be 25 because a lot of what was done at the behest of the Ethernati.
You know what? Let's see here. I got a 23, but I forgot about this whole cool artificer thing that I can do that I should have used before. So I am going to flash of genius and make that be a 28.
Hey.
So since you have a 28 and you beat the 25, I will give you some creative license on this to fill in the gaps however you want right now.
So Taro, in his very long-winded method, which I will not subject you all to, says that there was some secret mission a while ago when Haven first appeared. I don't know how a group of people got together, but one of the components was an Ethermancer, and if I have my facts straight, it was this Ethermancer by the name of Dr. Lucy. Other than that name, everything else kind of goes in bits and pieces. Some things are speculation, where other things are considered fact. Supposedly, she conjured darkness to be her companion. Some reports say that it was like a dragon that was small enough to ride her shoulders. Other reports say that it was like big enough that she rode it. The findings say that the ship went down to the surface, and supposedly no one saw her again. But clearly that can't be accurate if she's also this Dr. Regress. So it's not much to work with. It's not much to go on, but that's what I know.
So, from the various things that you guys have learned, you kind of like are able to piece together that Elgrith is the Skywell. She's the Sky Mother pre this event.
So is Dr. Lucy then apparently merged with the Sky Whale?
Yes.
Okay then.
I remember hearing that she was affiliated with the academy that I was a part of. That's how I remembered her. She had been close with a mentor, and they were on some sort of mission or adventure. It's really whispers in the corridors, right? That's how the academy operates, and when they don't want to remember things, you rely on whispers.
So, real quick to interject, anyone from Felcrest, there's a good possibility where Dr. Lucy may not really ring any bells, but when you mention the mentor and you mention them by name, that does, because her mentor was actually one of the most powerful and promising Ethermancers of the time that just vanished, and no one knows what happened to them.
So, yes, definitely some dark things surrounding her, at least. Dr. Lucinda, I cannot remember her last name for the life of me. However, since we've now completed our seance, and we're talking about this core that we wanted information on, I do think now is an appropriate time to share that on their ship, they had a core installed. And they kept a slave chained to it, who had been, from my best observation, driven mad. They drove a captive mad for their own ends. That is all I need to know about them.
So before you get into that, so the ritual ends with a pulse of warm wind. As your conversation ends, the final whale song fading into calm. The dead have spoken, and the sky remembers. And you're back on your ship. You're back on the ship where you were in the hold, and there's no longer sign of the sky whale. Ooh, la, la.
So, Captain, I hope you will forgive my crassness. And he squeezes Dorian's hand again when he says this. For my part, they can all die in a green fireball for all I care.
I don't know, I don't think the crew's ever seen me. I mean, you see me bloodied, and that's not new to you guys. I don't know if you guys ever see me truly shooken up. And granted, I'm putting that lightly. I don't know how torture feels and never want to experience that stuff, but literally, as I'm just taking in with it, it's something where I explain to everybody one way or another, I will inflict every pain, every lash, every torment that has been done to them, to their doing to these innocent creatures. So no, Rain, I do not think you are crass about this at all.
They're monsters. I think in order to take them out, we need to get rid of them. Someone's gonna have to wield their own power against them.
So, if I'm just... I know I have a 10 intelligence, but player is a little bit smarter than the person titling this character. Like, I don't know a way to do that, but as I hold forth the little orb thing with the little eye and hand symbol nonsense, you might be able to way to set them up.
Yeah, let's wait on that, I think.
Not
so
anytime
we're ready?
soon. Of course,
no.
not anytime soon.
Yeah, fuck them. We need to figure out who is the most headstrong here. The wisest, that, and probably the purest.
And on that note, I think that's where we'll wrap things up for tonight. We're just past 10:30, and I want to thank my players for playing and everyone for hanging out with us. Join us next week as we continue with The Sky Remembers. And until next time, stay nerdy.